So thanks again, David, for the introduction, and welcome everyone in joining us from Ontario and other provinces. And my apology, I did not prepare special programs for other provinces. It was the focus of my presentation is on Ontario, but we can do that in future workshops. So let's just to introduce myself, as David mentioned, I'm with RSTP Refugee Sponsorship Training Program, a program funded by IRCC to provide support and to private sponsors of refugees through workshops, training sessions. We offer online training and certificate courses. We also provide information and guidance for interested public, and develop training materials and guides and fact sheets on the sponsorship of refugees and special initiatives as well. We also respond to individual inquiries and group inquiries, and we support sponsors in person, online, virtually, and we can do customized, tailored training sessions for interested groups and sponsors. We support all the sponsors, sponsorship agreement holders, groups of 5, and community sponsors. We also, under special initiatives, we facilitate access, as David mentioned, with my new role, facilitate access to settlement organizations, settlement provider, service provider organizations, the SPOs. So I am a facilitator who would facilitate this access by intentionally connecting the sponsors and the newcomers arrived as PSRs, private sponsored refugees, and BVOR, blended visa office referred refugees as well, connect them and facilitate this access to settlement organizations. The Settlement Support Connection Project is a national project and funded by IRCC as well. So settlement services, as most of you know, they do referrals to local appropriate services and programs for the PSRs and BVORs, and language assessment, employment and career services. They provide counseling if required, and they make referrals to recreation programs. Privately sponsored refugees and BVORs arriving here in Canada, they are entitled to recreation programs and all these services. And we will hear more from the experts here who are joining the session on other settlement services available for newcomers. So I'll touch on the first address the federal programs and benefits available for those who arrive here in Canada under the PSR and BVOR program. First, they're entitled to 1-year window of opportunity program. Once they are within the first year they arrive in Canada, the condition is that the family member they would like to bring should be listed on the original application submitted to IRCC, the sponsorship application, and they must meet all the other immigration requirements as well. And so they shouldn't be inadmissible to Canada, and they have adequate settlement support plan should be in place once they submit the application. They're entitled to Canada Child Benefit. They're also entitled to GST, HST credit. They don't need necessarily to, so we'll say if they arrive here in Canada this year, meaning they haven't filed the tax return for 2023, but they're still entitled to apply for GST, HST credit. And we can hear more about this from my colleagues in settlement in their presentation as well. So they're also entitled to employment insurance, EI, if they had worked enough hours to be eligible to claim or apply for employment insurance. Other coverage, other benefit is the medical coverage under the interim federal health program. That includes basic coverage. Basic coverage is similar to healthcare coverage for provincial and territorial health insurance plans in Ontario, meaning similar to what we are covered under the OHIP. Supplemental coverage under the IFHP. Supplemental coverage is similar to the coverage that recipients of the, supplemental coverage and prescription drug coverage is similar to the coverage given to social assistance recipients by a provincial and territorial government. So whatever someone on Ontario works, which we will hear from our other presenter here, so whatever people who are whatever benefits under the Ontario Works medical benefits will be also given to under IFHP to PSRs and BVORs newcomers. And also under the IFHP, there is coverage for the immigration medical exam, IME. So all beneficiaries are covered for one IME and any necessary IME-related diagnostic tests. So that's the coverage under the IFHP. The other benefit, which is new, and I guess it's important for all newcomers because majority of them, they come with really high need for for dental attention, is the Canadian Dental Care Plan, CDCP. So this one, who is qualified to apply for this? Anyone with no access to dental insurance, their adjusted net family income is less than $90,000 a year, and should be Canadian residents for tax purposes, and they should have filed their tax return for the previous year. More information about this benefit is that the application is now open for seniors. So it's open for limited categories. So seniors aged 65 and over, children under the age of 18 can apply this year, and adults with a valid disability tax credit certificate. So the application is open online, but for the remaining eligible Canadians, the application will be open in 2025. So in 2024, only these three categories can apply for this benefit. So what are the services under this benefit? Preventive services and diagnostic services, restorative services, endodontic services, and prosthodontic services, and periodontal services. So these are all covered under this plan. We'll move now to Ontario. I will have links for all the services I'm talking about at the end of the presentation. There is a slide with all links to these benefits and the website and more details about each benefit. So we'll move now to Ontario programs and benefits for PSRs and BVORs. So medical coverage under the OHIP, it's the basic coverage similar to healthcare coverage for the from the provincial territorial health insurance plans. So PSR and BVOR newcomers are entitled to apply for OHIP. So Ontario is the only province that the newcomers under PSR and BVOR can apply to OHIP for the OHIP card the minute, like once they arrive in Canada. Of course, certain documents are required in order to apply for the OHIP, but they are entitled to apply for the OHIP on arrival, shortly after arrival. And also they're entitled to Ontario Disability Support Program if they meet eligibility. So there is an eligibility criteria for requirement for the ODSP. So ODSP, they can apply anytime as long as they have pursued all available financial resources and all eligibility criteria are met, including meeting the eligibility, meeting the program's definition of a person with a disability. So the eligibility applies even while the refugee is receiving, or the newcomer would say, even if they're still receiving support through the RAP, if they are BVORs, or from their private sponsors. And another benefit available in Ontario is Ontario Electricity Support Program. So that's in order to get this benefit, the newcomer needs referral, usually from a settlement worker, to a housing program. So that highlights the importance of connecting with a settlement worker once the newcomer is in Canada. Another municipal programs available also, like Ontario Child Care Fee Subsidy. It's available also for PSRs and BVOR newcomers. Special Needs Resourcing, SNR, is available for children with special needs. Under this, because there will be personalized attention and activities or special devices or toys needed for children with special need, and that's a benefit available for those children in Ontario. So we'll continue with Ontario programs and benefits. The Ontario Trillium benefit. This combines the following 3 credits to help pay for energy costs, as well as sales and property tax. And these combined benefits are the Northern Ontario Energy Credit, Ontario Energy and Property Tax Credit, and Ontario Sales Tax Credit. So the applicant needs to be eligible for at least one of these 3 credits in order to receive the benefit. One more benefit or program available for the newcomers is the student grants and loans, the OSAP, and of course, if they qualify, the students. Also, another health dental program that's provincial. It's Healthy Smiles Ontario, and I'll have an additional slide specifically for Healthy Smiles Ontario later on. And legal aid through community legal clinics also is available for newcomers under PSR and BVOR programs. I hear that they have amazing service over the phone, and they screen the person when they call, and they tell them if they are eligible to their services, and they have also interpreters. So in case the caller needs support in a different language, they have interpreters. And I heard from my colleague at Settlement that they do amazing work and support for with women who are experiencing violence.
Sorry for the interruption, May. You've got 2 minutes left.
Okay. So might be entitled to, thank you, to apply for subsidized housing in certain regions, but we know towards the end of the sponsorship, sponsors encouraged to help them apply for subsidized housing due to the long wait list. Also, there is a great service for them through the TPL, the Toronto Public Library. Not only Toronto, Peel and Durham, they have access to LinkedIn courses through their library card. So other programs, Healthy Smiles Ontario as well, eligibility 17 years older, old and under with low income household, all the details in the link at the, so I'm not going to go over all the details. The link is at the end of the presentation with all the details for Healthy Smiles Ontario. So this is the page with all the resources that most of the benefits, federal and provincial, that I touched on. This is our team at the SPO Connect Settlement Support Connection Project. My colleague Anush, facilitator in Alberta, and facilitates connections for the Western Alberta, Western provinces and territories, and the prairies. Myself for Ontario and the Atlantic provinces, and the coordinator is Paris 2, and we're both Paris 2 and myself based in Ontario in the head office. So thank you for giving me this opportunity, and would like to continue the partnership and work together.
Thank you to all the sponsors here for having us today. We're really happy to present on how to support delivering Ontario Works to potential applicants, and particularly to newcomers and refugees. We're going to go through some supports you can utilize to support potential applicants. So I'm going to share my screen, and just give me a thumbs up that you guys can see it okay. David, am I good?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, excellent. So again, my name is Ryan Mohammed. I am a manager with the Ministry of Children and Community Social Services, particularly focused on the modernization, enhancement, and delivery of the Ontario Works program for the entire province. We work collaboratively with the municipalities, so that's 47 municipalities across the province, to strategize on how to improve the delivery of the program. And then we also are in charge of the staff that process the applications and look to continue to improve and modernize the delivery of the program. So I'm going to talk a little bit about social assistance in Ontario. Again, I spoke a little bit about the ministry. So the Ministry of Children and Community Social Services is a part of the Government of Ontario. And we work alongside the municipal level governments. So that is the 47 municipalities that are government at a municipal level. And we work together to provide financial supports for Ontario residents. So as you can see here, I've identified 4 key programs that the ministry here delivers. There's more, but I'm going to focus on these 4 today, and primarily Ontario Works. So a high-level overview of what Ontario Works is, it is financial immediate support to help you and your eligible family members with living expenses, including food, rent, etc. The program also provides health benefits for you or your eligible family members. So there's particular health benefits that can be associated with the program as well. And there's also employment supports to help you find and keep a job, such as workshops for resume writing, job counseling, job-specific training, and basic education needs. So we identify that on a case-by-case basis to determine the necessary supports for the individual. There's also a temporary care assistance. And this is if you're an adult and you're temporarily responsible for the care of a child who is in financial need. You may be eligible for this temporary care assistance on behalf of the child. There's a link here. We're going to be sharing out the PowerPoint where you guys can easily access the link on how to apply. And there's additional information on our website with the specifics and the requirements for this particular program. You can always as well contact your local Ontario Works office, and there's a link there as well. There's also a program for emergency assistance. So if you are in an emergency, so there's clear definitions of emergency assistance, fleeing flood, fire, disaster, fleeing domestic abuse. There's various criteria to emergency assistance. And if you live in Ontario, you could be eligible for this program. And there's a link there with additional resources on how to apply for emergency assistance and the additional eligibility criteria for that program. And then, of course, the previous presenter touched on Ontario Disability Support Program. The ministry also oversees this program. And there's various medical and financial components to indeed apply for the program. We won't be speaking a lot about ODSP today, but we wanted to bring notion to the fact that this is a ministry program, and we do also oversee the Ontario Disability Support Program as well. So moving forward, we wanted to talk specifically about Ontario Works and the ministry's role, which is integral. So I'll say MCCSSS, that's short for the Ministry of Children and Community Social Services. We talk a lot of acronyms in the government. I'll do my best not to speak in acronyms. But we have over 170 caseworkers across the province that processes Ontario Works applications in a centralized method across all 47 municipalities. So when I say centralized, we have leveraged technology to indeed, we know the behavior of our applicants. 90% of our applications come through the digital channel, which is through the online channel. And we process that in a centralized method. So what that means is we're not all sitting in one office. We work remotely across the province from Thunder Bay to Ottawa, all the way up to Kenora and even further north, to work in particular communities as well, to understand the barriers, to understand the local logistics of particular communities, to help us best deliver the program. So we are across the entire province to deliver this, because we know different municipalities, regions, geographies face different barriers. So we have to look at it from that collective lens in order to improve the delivery of the program. We process applications. So how we process our applications are in chronological order. So what I mean by chronological, we process equally from oldest to newest. So the oldest applications get processed in order. And then that's how we triage the applications and process them. So we clearly make it equal across the province for all our applicants in that manner. We process currently for Ontario Works over 20,000 applications per month. It's quite the volume. And we've noticed since post-COVID, application volume has increased. And we know that due to various factors, the ending of COVID, the ending of benefits such as CERB, the reliance on this particular program has dramatically increased by over 40% as compared to prior COVID numbers. So volumes and the need for the program is definitely something that we're monitoring, but we see that, and it's due to various economic factors, et cetera. And we continue to ensure that we meet a 4-day service standard. So there is a 4-day service standard for Ontario Works, that's business days. So we meet that service standard in almost 90% of our applications. There's variables to that, of course. And additional processing time may be needed according to the complexity of the application. But we do our best to process applications that are received online or over the phone in a 4-day service standard. The ministry's worked very hard, the government, to enhance technology. So we leverage very enhanced automation tools to support the processing of the application. So with this digitization or modernization to enhance technology, there still is barriers to applicants. We acknowledge that. There's applicants that are unhoused, that do not have phones, that do not have access to technology. And we, of course, work with our local communities to ensure those barriered applicants still receive equal treatment and also can access our services, even with our internally enhanced technology. So we may be required to collect additional information depending on the complexity of the application. The automated tools, though, what it does allow us to do is to complete mandatory, what we call third-party checks. With any government application, there's a requirement based on legislation, regulation, directive to complete those background checks in order to meet the requirements of the program. So those are things such as Canada Revenue Agency checks, IRCC checks to determine accurate status. We have ID checks, various tools allow us to deliver the program in an accountability perspective, but also to ensure we're making accurately eligible decisions. So how do folks apply? Again, I talked about technology. We leverage, and it's on our ontario.ca page. Again, you'll see the link here. We call it the Social Assistance Digital Application. It's actually a dual application. It allows applicants to apply for both Ontario Disability Support Program and Ontario Works at the same time. So the tool or the application goes through a series of questions to determine the best program that would fit the needs of the applicant. The applicant goes through heavy user testing to ensure it's plain language, easy to understand, and we are constantly retooling the application to ensure it's meeting the needs of our applicants, and that it's also very easy to understand and submit the application. You can also get immediate support through our social assistance contact center, which can also support completing the application on their behalf. So you can call our toll-free number. So if an applicant or the client doesn't have minutes, it is toll-free. It's available between 8:30 to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. And you can have the contact center complete an application on their behalf. If there's language barriers, we suggest, because it's only available in English and French, we suggest that a family or friend assist the applicant in their native language. And with consent over the phone, the agent can still complete the application through direct relation or direct contact to ensure that the application is also completed over the phone. We also have in-person services in the 47 municipal local offices that can support an in-person application. Generally, we know the behavior of our applicant, over 90% are submitting it through the online channel or the phone channel. But if immediate in-person support is needed, that can also be available at the 47 municipal local sites. So I'm going to pass to Lindsay, and she's going to talk about how best you can support your applicant.
Thanks, Ryan. So as Ryan mentioned, we have the social assistance digital application online. That application takes approximately 20 to 30 minutes to complete. We just ask that you ensure the applicants have all of the family members that will be included in the application. If they get through the digital component and they do need to meet with the caseworker, they need to provide consent as well as answer all the questions around their information. When you have the call with the caseworker on the phone, you need to make sure you have the identification tax documents ready. Those will be things that they will be clarifying to confirm identity with the applicants. They will need to also include on the online application one of the following. So their social insurance number, their health card number, their UCI number. We do require unique identifiers online to proceed with the application. You will be also asked online if the applicants have a bank account. The details of that account will need to be provided on the application, including the full account numbers. This will support also with payment to the client if application is approved. We need to ensure the applicants have all the documents before doing the application. There is an ability to have the applications paused if you're doing the online support system through a system called My Benefits. But if you are doing it in one step, you need to have everything available. Each adult member, so over 18, must have a valid email address. If they don't have an email address, you can assist them. If you can assist them with opening one that would support them, they will be sent at the end of the application consent forms that need to be signed. Each individual will have the form sent to them separately, so they do all need to have a separate email address. If the client is unable to complete the digital consents, then they will have an opportunity to have that supported in office, a booked appointment. But like Ryan said, most of our clients are able to have this completed digitally, and it is much faster. Clients need to have a phone number, again, with their full address details while they're doing this application. We do ask that you ensure with them that they are making sure their postal codes are correct. So we do have issues with postal codes not being used correctly, and that does misdirect the applications to the wrong areas. So we, as Ryan said, we currently provide English and French in office, but if your clients require another spoken language, we do ask that their support person indicates their name and language on the online application to expedite the process, and we will be able to contact the interpreter for them. Sponsored applicants can apply for social assistance up to 10 days before the end of their sponsorship period. So if they are nearing the end of their period, we ask that it's 10 days before that they apply, and we can proceed with the application. If they apply before that, they will be asked to contact us later and submit a different application. We do not have the ability to backdate those applications while they are still in their sponsorship period. An application can be made with the client once they have status in Canada, refugee claimant, PR, and such. And when completing the online application, like I said, the My Benefit account will pop up on the screen. And that's where you'll be able to save your application, resume, go back if you forgot something. So it does support you along those lines. And then when you make contact with the caseworker, if they ask that your identification is submitted or a rental receipt is submitted, you can do all of those items through the My Benefit system. So it's very beneficial to the clients. And then once they are connected with their permanent caseworker, they can message directly to their caseworker if they have questions and concerns and they can't reach them. Next slide here. So this slide here is the acceptable identity and status documents. So we get a lot of questions about what can verify status for applicants. So there's a long list here of what is acceptable. So, and you will have access to this this PowerPoint presentation, and the same thing for proof of identity and date of birth. So those are two main criteria for us when you're doing the application. We need to verify name and identity and then your status in the country. So the municipal role, each municipality has caseworkers as well. So they provide the ongoing case managements to the applicants. So they'll meet their applicants to review ongoing financial eligibility and their employment needs. So this can be between, every 3 months, more on a monthly basis if needed, depending on what the client's needs are. But that is held by the municipality. The municipality manages the ongoing payments and the payment methods. So if the client does the application online and they've entered in banking details or they need to correct that, they will need to connect with the municipality to make those changes. They will also issue our initial payment. So once our file has been deemed granted, the municipality will issue that payment within 48 hours, either via check or direct deposit, whatever the client has provided. They also provide employment support. So all of these listed here, there are basic needs, employment benefits, dental vision care, basic for dependent children and discretionary for adults. There's also special dietary needs, pregnancy and breastfeeding allowance. Those are other benefits that they would be entitled to. They can go through diabetic supplies and medical transportation forms, and they can complete the assistive device programs as well. TCB is available. That's the transitional childcare benefit for those applicants that have not been able to obtain their Ontario Child Benefit yet. So that is something that the municipality can issue on the interim when the clients haven't had their chance to get their child tax benefit completed. And then the municipalities all deal with all you community partners. So they will make all the referrals to employment programs, training programs, settlement services. They will connect them with housing workers. So that is part of the municipality's role. Well, they will make all those referrals as the clients need. So for housing and childcare and all those programs.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Yeah.
So lastly, we wanted to highlight these very handy information sheets that the network here can use. If you can print these and you can cut them in two, one's English, one's French, to both serve both languages. But really, this is a great sheet that shows how to apply, where to apply, what you need at a basic level to apply, such as having that social insurance number, OHIP card, etc., birth certificate, immigration papers, And then, of course, the various contacts with the contact center available 8:30 to 5. There's also TTY service on the contact center, a handy QR code, which we found extremely handy across the province, where folks can just take their smartphone, on the picture, scan the QR code, and it goes right to the link on how to apply. Our applications are mobile friendly, so they're very easy to use on a mobile handset. Or at a computer. So there's no preference to the ease of use with the application. Very simple to use via your handset or your computer or via the phone, which is available Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 5. So you're welcome to utilize these sheets, print them, share them wherever you'd like to share them, send it out to other various networks. We're happy for you folks to use this as you see fit. So that comes to the end of our presentation. We want to thank the network for having us today, and we're happy to take any questions now.
Thanks for having us here. We're so happy to be here. As David mentioned, I'm Anya Souza, and I'm one of the managers of Adult Settlement Services at Woodgreen. I'll just pass it over to Sally to do a quick introduction and say hi.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm Sally Sarid-Dean. I'm the Settlement Service Specialist. I'm happy to be here, learn from you, and also provide information about Woodgreen Community Services.
Thank you, Sally. So I'll just share my screen here. Okay, hopefully everyone can see that in full screen. So as David said, we are here to talk about settlement organizations, who we are, what we do, in hopes for building better relationships and stronger relationships with sponsors. Just a quick agenda, what to expect for our presentation. We'll do a bit of an introduction to Woodgreen. I'll take a couple of minutes to frame the conversation, the perspective that we're coming from today. Then we'll talk about Woodgreen's client service process, a bit about settlement services, and some practical applications in a client scenario, which we'll probably spend the most time on. And then we have a slide on some settlement resources. And then, of course, we have the time for Q&A at the end. So a bit about Woodgreen. We are a multi-service social service agency. As an agency, we serve over 40,000 clients every year. There's a list of some of our services here, but I think we'll be able to see those applied in the client scenario a bit closer. We do have quite a large staff team. We have over 1,100 staff across our 44 locations, and those locations are all across the city of Toronto. And the vision of Woodgreen is a Toronto where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. I thought it would be important just to take a couple minutes to frame the conversation. So at Woodgreen, in our newcomer services, we really view the newcomer experience as a journey, right? A settlement journey. So, we do feel that sponsored individuals and their families embark on this settlement journey. And on this journey, there are multiple touch points, multiple milestones, connections, and unfortunately, some pain points as well, as we've all experienced. But we really do believe that every person that's supporting these families on their settlement journey plays an important role. There is no one expert on every topic. We all work together, whether it's with sponsors, other agencies, different levels of government, to work together to provide support. And by working together, the support, of course, is stronger, and we can learn from each other. So that's where we're coming from in this presentation. A bit about Woodgreen's family settlement client service process. So going back to the previous slide and framing the conversation, we think it's really important to understand, what to expect from a settlement agency and settlement services such as Woodgreen, to kind of make the connection smoother, what to expect from the client's perspective and the sponsor's perspective. So at Woodgreen Family Settlement Services, we provide post-arrival services. All of our newcomer clients participate in an intake process as well as a holistic needs and assets assessment. And this assessment was created based on the Canadian Index of Wellbeing, which looks at multiple domains of an individual's life. And based on that, it also includes, it's not just needs, but also assets, right? People bring so much to the table based on their experiences and their skills. So we want to look at those as well. And then once the needs and assets are identified with our settlement counselors, the client participates in a service planning process. And the service planning really lists the goals and the different steps that both the counselor and the client and those other people involved in the journey would take. And that includes attachments to programs and services as well. It's important to note that we do collect informed client consent multiple times throughout the service process, and that consent can be changed or altered at any point. And that the service offerings are tailored to each newcomer's needs, right? So our service offerings also take into account the existing support that a newcomer has, so including sponsor support. At Wood Green, we are fortunate to be able to serve newcomers with all immigration statuses. And just as a kind of what to expect with services from our settlement services, we do require that we are able to verify an immigration or a government document, and that's a funder requirement. Okay, I will pass it over to Sally. Sally, I think you might be muted.
Okay. All right. So Wood Green's newcomer services. In our newcomer department at Wood Green, we help immigrants and refugees, both individuals and families, access a fulsome suite of services, included assistance with government services, English language classes, citizenship test preparation, and support in accessing healthcare, education, employment, and housing. And also, more than that, we work with our clients in depth through case management. We start with our clients with their intake. We ask their immediate needs, and we start with them with a settlement plan. The settlement plan that we work with our clients in is going plan. So the clients may have short needs and the clients may have long needs. All these needs, all these goals are in the settlement plan with timeline. The settlement counselor work with the clients closely and help them accomplish these goals, of course, with the help of the client. So we would like to share like a case scenario from one of our clients and how the settlement counselor helped this client. Just a little background about a scenario. Maria is a 30-year-old newcomer from Sudan who is part of a private sponsorship. After receiving her permanent resident approval, Maria arrived in Canada excited but anxious about starting a new life. So the first step with the settlement counselors when Maria arrived, we do a welcome orientation because the client come they don't know what is Canada, how they go with transportation, what are the rights, what are the responsibilities, what they should do in the first year. And our group of 18 settlement counselors that speaks more than 18 language, we usually connect the client with a counselor that speak the same language. And in case we do not have that language, we do have interpretation services that we can use to support the client. So in our first meeting, of course, as Ania said, we work with the client through holistic approach. We take the consent of the client and we start our intake, doing a needs and assets assessment, which from here we know what are the client's short goals and what are the client's long-term goals. And we work on this service plan with the client. In Maria's case, we helped through housing assistance. So after the first year, we helped Maria do the rented gear to income application. It's an application. I know there's a long wait list, so we usually advise our clients to do it the day they're like in their first year when they arrive to Canada. Second step is the language support, which is very important for newcomers in Canada, even though if they know the language, it's really important to connect with other people, with other newcomers, and like leave the house, not live in isolations. It's really important. In Maria's case, we connected with a YMCA, which they do the English language test in Old Toronto, and we helped Maria find link classes near her house. Third thing is employment services. In Wood Green, we do have an employment department. We referred Maria to speak with a job coach. And by reviewing her resume, job developer or coach also helped Maria conducting mock interviews and connecting her with local job fairs and networking event tailors to her expertise. And also Maria's sponsor connected her with a friend for more informational interview. So yes, the settlement counselor has a very big role in the client's journey, but also the sponsor would play a big role also with supporting, helping, and guiding the client. Okay. Healthcare navigation. We provided guidance on registering, providing information how to apply for the OHIP card. We also informed her about available health resources, and of course the mental health support that is provided by the federal government, and the sponsor has connected Maria with her family doctor. So after that, community connection, which we believe it's really important for Maria to have a mentor that have like the same educational background, give her tips and information how to find a job and what she should do in her first year. And on the other hand, her sponsor has connected her with conversational circles that held in a library near her house. Conversation circles, not only important to prove the English, but also to meet new people and build her network. Financial literacy workshops. We usually have a big financial department in Wood Green that help newcomers understand what is the banking system and how to manage credit, because, you know, and like some countries back home, they don't know what is credit, what is debit. So it's really important to be aware on that. And also our financial department helped Maria to apply for GST, HST to receive all the benefits in her first year. We go to the education support. Maria came with a degree from her back home, so we helped her to do the credential of her degree through WES. And we provided information about bridging programs. We do have some bridging programs at Wood Green, as well as we have partnership with other service providers that provide these bridging programs are about 6 to 8 months, and they are provided for free for all newcomers and refugees in Canada. Maria's sponsor has provided information about post-secondary education, and the settlement counselor has provided information about OSAP. Some people believe that in their first year, clients are not eligible for OSAP, but yes, they are. They will receive the federal part, but not the provincial part, from like my personal experience. And of course, ongoing support. This is not our job just to provide information and to do referral. We work in depth with a client, we follow up with them, we redo the needs of assessment when we see it's needed and the client has more goals. So our roles as settlement counselor is not just doing the referrals and referring the client outside. We work in depth and we keep following with the clients as long as they need information from us, as long as they need guidance. But of course, for this settlement plan to be successful and the client achieve their goals, they have to put effort and work hard and not like be dependent that I have someone who will do it for me. No, they have to do it, and we are the supporter here. And of course, with their help of their sponsors, because sponsors have been living for many years in this country and also has experience and knowledge as us settlement counselors.
Thanks, Sally. If I could just add, that's a great point. So I think there was a question earlier about, is there a time limit whereby we can provide settlement services? And as Sally shared with everybody, we don't view it that way. Somebody may come to us, in their first month that they've been in Canada, and they have very specific immediate needs. We keep in touch with them. Settlement counselors act as service navigators, right? So after doing the needs and assessment and creating the settlement plan, really following up and keeping in touch to make sure that things have gone through successfully and, mitigating any challenges that people might face. And then after those immediate needs or, medium-term needs are completed, maybe the frequency of connection based on the client's needs isn't, as frequent, but then they may come back to us 3 or 4 years later to apply for citizenship, right? So there's no time limit. We are here to support clients along their entire settlement journey, and just the intensity or frequency might change over time.
Yeah, so as Anya said before, that in Wood Green, we serve clients regardless their status. So once they are a permanent resident, we have a specific program for those category of people. When they became naturalized citizen, we do help them. We do help international students, refugees. So we do have different programs that we can support all the newcomers to Canada. So here are some resources. A newcomer settlement portal. It's allow users to find and book appointment at various service provider. 211 Ontario, you just can put 211 and search like for food bank, clothing bank, service providers, whatever information you want, you can access it through 211. Settlement.org, of course, we know about it. It includes all the information that the newcomer needs in their first year, from housing to education, healthcare, English classes, and newcomer service kiosk by City of Toronto. Also, you can just go there, search like recreational program, community centers, and you can find all these. And the last one is Arrive On application. This application has been created by Costi Immigrant Services. It's you just download it on your phone, and you can search anything with for settlement services is fine there. Even education, anything you're looking for, you can find it on that Arrive On application.
Exactly. So we just have our contact information for both myself and Sally. You guys can have this information once the slides are shared with you. Please feel free to reach out to either of us if you have any further questions.